Help for our small businesses and a place for our kids to play. Mayor Todd Gloria joining us this morning to explain more about his Parks for All of Us master plan. Good morning to you, Mayor. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Eric. Good morning, San Diego.
Hey, before we dive into the master plan, let's talk a little bit about a COVID relief here. More funds could soon be helping small businesses and nonprofits. Some developments here this morning. Some big money headed that way here, Mayor.
Yeah, not could, will. The City Council on Tuesday approved a $10 million appropriation to create a small business and nonprofit relief fund. We're going to marry that with $2 million from the San Diego Foundation for a $12 million combined fund. We'll launch next week, accepting applications from businesses and nonprofits that have been impacted by COVID-19. This will provide significant relief to local businesses. This is far more than what the city was able to do last year. This is because of the American Rescue Plan that President Biden helped to champion. And I look forward to being able to make sure that more of our small businesses and nonprofits can survive this latest surge in COVID and to hopefully stay in business on the back end of this pandemic.
What are businesses telling you they need most financially? How is this going to help them?
Well, it's a host of stuff, but really what I hear from businesses is the need for customers to get vaccinated. They are extremely concerned about having to go into shutdown again. Most of them are just hanging on by their fingertips, and they know they can't survive another shutdown. The way to do that is to make sure that San Diegans get vaccinated. I encourage folks to do that. After that, their concerns are about just making sure that they can pay the bills, and that's what this grant fund will do. Again, these are grants, not loans, and this is because of the American Rescue Plan and the great partnership with the San Diego Foundation, who have raised philanthropic dollars to match our public dollars to make them go further.
Let's turn our attention here to the Parks for All of Us master plan. Recently received City Council approval. So what's changed since the original version? That original version, by the way, was like decades ago. A lot's changed.
65 years, Eric. We have not updated our parks master plan in 65 years. Let me give your viewers a little context for what that means. Back when the last plan was adopted, we had 5,700 acres of park space in our city. Today, we have over 42,000 acres.
Wow.
Back then, 13 rec centers. Today, 58. It just gives you a sense of how much our context has changed since the last plan was adopted. This new plan that was adopted by the City Council earlier this week really envisions making sure that we have an equitable park system. Many of your viewers can go to some of our city parks and know that we're one city, but we really have two different park systems. Neighborhoods where there are abundant parks that are well programmed and well maintained, and some communities where we have very poor quality parks. Frankly, Eric, in some of our communities, we have no parks. This particular plan makes sure that we mingle all of our funds citywide and that we can aggressively expand the number of parks in the communities, and doing it with an eye toward equity and to quality. I believe that in 2082, or when the next time they may update this plan, we'll be able to look back and see that this was a transformational decision by the city to make sure that every San Diego neighborhood has access to high quality park programming.
It's also changed in 65 years, Mayor, how expensive it is to live here. Yes, you're the mayor of one of the most expensive cities. So there's a big push to get more affordable housing here, but you need land to do that. So has that been a tough balance, getting more places where people can live versus more places where people can play?
Well, I think if we expand our imaginations, it's not actually a huge problem. I mean, think about the potential of converting commercial and office spaces that may not have much of a use going forward because we are moving to a work from home or work online situation. That is land that is available. We can make better use of our public land. Earlier this week, the City Council authorized the start of a legal process to build a new sports arena at the existing sports arena location, but do it in concert with building thousands of units of affordable housing for working San Diegans. That's what I mean by reimagining things. If we continue to do things the way we historically have, we will continue to be bedeviled by a tremendous affordable housing crisis. If we get a little more entrepreneurial, if we start thinking about, say, maybe next time we build a branch library, we build a library on the ground floor and some housing above that the librarian who works there could potentially live in, you can see rapidly how we can solve this issue. It's a matter of will and imagination. I certainly have the will, and I believe the City Council does as well.
For all the fans of the Gulls out there, the Sports Center is not going to be going away anytime soon then. It's just the plan around it, correct?
Well, we do hope to have a new arena for them and others to play in. The current arena is outdated, and it does not match the greatness of our city. But yes, this would be a multi-year process. The process the city council initiated on Tuesday will take several months. We will then have to negotiate with a partner to actually construct a new facility and the associated housing. This won't be done tomorrow, but the point is we're moving forward. How often have we been talking about the potential of a new sports arena? Now the time is to stop talking, start acting, and that action started on Tuesday.
Can we get an update on your stance on masking up indoors? LA County has made it mandatory. The city is right now recommending masks indoors. This morning, has your stance changed or remained the same on that?
No, LA County, as you mentioned, has provided that direction. San Diego County has not provided the city that direction at this point. But I would encourage San Diegans to mask up. Everything that I see, hear, and read about indicates that that's a good move, particularly when you're indoors with a lot of people who you may not know their vaccination status. It's just an easy step to make sure that we're not transmitting this virus further. Going back to what we were talking about a moment ago, Eric, this is one of the ways that we can ensure more of our small businesses survive, that our schools reopen in a few weeks. I know you have small children. I'm sure you're anxious to get them back in the classroom safely. Masking up, getting vaccinated, that's the way we can accomplish it. And we're not currently in a mandatory status, but it could change over time. And really that's dependent upon how this virus continues to spread in the community. Do your part, please. Stop the spread of this virus. Get vaccinated. There
has been a lot of chatter about vaccine passports. New York City now requiring people to be fully vaxxed to go to gyms, restaurants, entertainment venues. LA looks like they may be moving in that direction. Do you see that ever happening in our city? Do you see that happening down the road here?
Well, I don't think anything's off the table because we still are really learning more about the Delta variant and other variants that are appearing. This stuff is serious, but at this point, that's not something that we're considering. I will tell you, Eric, that I am asking our city employees to get vaccinated. We are currently talking with our employee groups to make sure we can implement that successfully, but we are going to make it mandatory that city employees, folks who interact regularly with the public, I'm talking about police officers, firefighters, librarians, lifeguards, these folks need to be vaccinated and to protect themselves and to protect the general public. We're moving forward with that particular mandate. What that turns into over time remains to be seen. But I certainly think that there should be incentives for folks to get vaccinated. And for those of us that want to get back to our regular life, who've been vaccinated, we should be able to do that. For folks that want to continue to hang out at home, that's your pleasure too. But we need to create more incentives for people to get vaccinated. It's how we will defeat the pandemic.
Been a tough year and a half for our country, San Diegans, especially. There's been this kind of roller coaster. Things are opening up. We can go back to life, and then now there's the Delta variant. Things are starting to kind of shut down. What's kind of your message to San Diegans here? How are you staying optimistic about everything?
Well, first off, we live in the greatest city on earth. And so there's a lot of reason to have optimism. In terms of that whipsawing back and forth, I'm like anyone else. It's frustrating to me too. But the fact is, Eric, is that every day we learn something new, a new data point, a new fact about how this virus works, and we course correct. And I think that's what your viewers would want us to do, not to be ignorant of the information that's around us, but to take it in and to do better. And that's precisely what we're doing. The Delta variant is absolutely a curveball. It's causing us to reevaluate what's going on. It's why we're moving to mandatory vaccines for city employees, and it may cause us to take additional steps. At the end of the day, no matter where you stand on any of these issues, I think all of us should agree that defeating COVID-19 has to be our top priority. It is critical for our economy. It is critical for our health. It's critical for our kids. And again, my message is very, very clear. Please, for the roughly 30% of San Diegans who have not availed themselves of a vaccine yet, do so. Do so now. Do so for yourself and for your community.
Mayor Todd Gloria joining us this morning. Thanks so much for being here on this Thursday morning. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, Eric.
Thanks, Mayor.